Paul Hinchy, Gary Spillane. It's the 14th of October 2020. So this video is on what to do if we get an E02 fault, which is a low pressure fault. And then just a brief description of what E02 and E01. The E01, the high pressure faults, they're all to do with the hot side. It can't be caused really by the low side, the cold side. And the E02, which we're talking about now, is a low pressure fault. So it appear here as an E02, and it's all to do with the collector side. So it's these two pipes coming in from outside, and here into these two pipes, the two on the left. So the first thing to check if we get an E02 fault is that the pressure on the collector is good. So today when I arrived, the pressure was down here below 1 and we need it to be up above 1.5. So I've increased the pressure. And then what I did was I switched the heat pump on a few times to circulate the water and get the air out of here. And then what happens is after about a minute, the compressor will start. So what I was doing was after 30 seconds, I would turn it off so the compressor wouldn't start and turn it on again. And the way to check that we have flow is to come down here to one of these valves. And I'm not sure if it's coming out in the video, but when we do this, at about that angle, we can actually hear the water rushing through. If you can't hear that water rushing through, we have a problem with pumping. So there are the two things to check on the water side. And then I'll just turn that off again. And then finally, when we came today, the temperature was very low because the unit had been turned off. If this temperature is down around, below 20 degrees and it was at 15.5, then there's a possibility that the unit will go out in low pressure simply because everything is so cold. So what I did was I had to turn on a stat inside to call the system and make it start. But then what I did was I disconnected this pump. This pump takes heat out of this tank and into the house. So I'm just going to disconnect that for a while, so and we make sure the power goes off, so that we can heat up this buffer tank and stop the whole thing being cold. Warm the whole system up before we start pulling heat into the house. So there are all the things to check on the water and heating side if we get an E02 fault.